Hey everyone, my name's Randy,
And I'm Ray.
and we're going to be reviewing super rares for the upcoming expansion Azurite Sea for Lorcana. Alright, so now we're moving on to Ruby. So starting off, first red legendary, we've got Maui. This is a 6 cost, he's inkable. Stats are 7-5, it's evasive. And then one of the effects, whenever this character challenges another character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand. Secondary effect, it's a passive effect. Whenever you play an action, you gain 1 lore. I forgot to mention he quests for 1. What do you think?
Initially, sounds really good. It's just good stat line, okay stat line, weak quest for that amount. He has evasive, which is great. And mainly, we're focusing on his effect to get an action back. And that's really good. It's a +1. There's a lot of good actions you could play, and you gain 1 lore when you use that action. So I like him.
Yeah. Before I begin, have you watched Maui?
Yeah.
Why is Maui different animals?
He's a shapeshifter.
Oh, okay. So I've seen him I think there's a card, he's an eagle, right? Where he's reckless, and there's a human form, and now there's a shark. Okay. So, yeah, I like the evasive. It feels almost unnecessary because his stats are so good. 5 health is pretty high. But still, nice to have, right? The fact that when he challenges, you get an action, that's great. I think there's a lot of versatility in that, and obviously depends on what you choose to pair red with. But even within red, if you're desperate, you can get back a Be Prepared, there's Brawl, so there's, variety. Also in the event that you're going up against discard and, you got rid of something knowing that you have Maui to play later on, that's good. If you choose to pair it with maybe Gray that has, is it Fire the Cannons 1 cost?
Yeah.
Stuff like that that's low cost, you can get some passive lore pretty quickly, right, with the Maui, and the effect isn't bad for 1 cost to deal 2 damage. So I think this is interesting. I think it has a lot of potential, really good stats. 7 attack is really high, 5 health is, not bad. It is a little slow, so if you want to use some of those effects that give you rush, awesome. But besides that, I think that this is an interesting card. The one thing that makes it, not the best is that it needs a challenge. So if you play Maui on me, then I'm not going to exert a character of mine, right? I'll not quest unless it's for game or threatening game the following turn. I may not sing. So that's, I think, what the drawback is. So even though there's a lot of potential there, I still have the ability to say, well, I'm just not going to make my characters vulnerable. Versus the other Maui, right? The 5 cost, he has rush, so he can do it immediately. So that's just the one thing that might slow him down a bit. But if I choose not to do anything, then you can choose to quest or do whatever. He's got really big stats, so, slowing me down at the very least. But his effect, I don't think will always pay off unless you pair it with, give me rush. I'll give him a 3. I think, earlier I was a little more hyped about him, but, the fact that they need to be exerted for him to challenge and he doesn't have rush built in, you can play around him a little bit. 6 cost is a little higher, right, than the 5 cost version. Stats are really good. Effect is pretty good. The passive effect is interesting, but you're probably not going to be super duper action heavy where in 1 turn you're going to play 30 actions and win. So I say 3.
Yeah, I also gave it a 3. Stats are good, effect is good, he has evasive, which is a nice bonus, nothing crazy. And his quest is 1, so it kind of goes against that evasive. You can't really just sit there and quest. His effect is really good. His second effect to get the lore is okay. It's just a nice bonus. His main effect, you have to challenge, which is the only drawback, but most likely you're going to be attacking something. He's a big attacker, so you're going to be attacking stuff. It's a good effect, and it's a really good effect.
Yeah.
And you can just get something, very threatening, and then that makes your opponent play differently. If you get Be Prepared, you're not going to be playing cards. And it's just kind of oppressive, but...
Yeah.
It's just a little slow, and it's a little, I guess, predictable. You can see what's coming up once he's out. He doesn't have rush or whatever, so he can't just pop off right away.
Yeah, you can even with that. It's a good point about predictability. You can check your opponent's discard, and if there's an action there that isn't all that worrisome, okay, sure, I'll quest, take my character out. That's fine. Yeah, interesting.
All right, next up we got another red card. This is Hades. He's 5, uninkable. His stats are 4-3 with quest 1. And he has effect pay 3 and exert him. And you banish one of your characters to banish a chosen character. Initial thoughts?
I hate it. Yeah, no, this is probably the worst legendary. I don't know, I don't think we've reviewed them all yet, but in my opinion, this is awful. So 1, it's uninkable. 2, it's a decent cost right at 5. 3, stats aren't great. 4, 3, I mean, the attack is fine, so you don't get Medusa. I'm so scared of Medusa. It's rocked me so many times, I'm like PTSD. But the effect is just way too slow, right? 3 ink is fine. You need to banish one of your characters to banish, you can choose a character, which is okay. But you're sacrificing something. Sure, I'll play a 1 cost and I'll sacrifice that. Could be the logic, that's fine. But you need to exert them too. So uninkable, you pay 5 costs. You need to wait a turn. He doesn't have ward, doesn't have evasive. So if they don't take him out, the next turn, I exert him to make him vulnerable. I play 3 ink, which if I played him on 5, then that means at most I'll have 3 additional ink to spare. I get rid of one of my characters to get rid of one of yours. It just feels like a huge commitment. When instead you can and will in red have Medusas, maybe Lady Tremaines, Mauis if they're exerted, Brawls, Sisus. There's already so much removal. Dragonfire, that the condition to wait a turn and pay an additional 3 ink and sacrifice one of your characters to get rid of one of theirs. I don't like it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I agree. This card's horrible. Like, I'm just trying to find something good about it. I don't see anything. Like, the cost is a bit much. He's uninkable. Stats are mediocre. Quest for 1, which is nothing. That's bad for a 5-drop. And his effect is mind-boggling. Like, you exert him, you pay 3, and you banish one of your characters.
But you get to banish one of theirs.
Oh, I only read the first
7 parts requirements.
I see nothing positive about this card.
Yeah, I think sorry, go ahead.
He should have you gain 3 lore, or it should be free to do that. You have to pay or something.
Pay 1 ink.
Yeah, there's nothing good about this card.
Yeah. What I think where this might have potential is if in the future they release some sort of tokens. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Had Scapegoat, right? You play a card and you summon 5 characters that are 1/1s or something. Then you can sacrifice one of those weak things to take out a big threat. But currently when you take out a character that you paid ink to play, that presumably is decent enough for you to run it in your deck, to take out something on their side, that'd be scary. And if, for example, you're playing me and you play this character against me, 1, I'd be like, why are you playing this card? But 2, I wouldn't bring out a big card, right? Like, I wouldn't bring out my crucial card if it doesn't have ward, because then you're just going to get rid of it. So I'll hold off and I'll wait till I Strength of the Raging Fire you for 3 damage, and then I can play my big character or whatever it is. But there's just 2 weak stats, too many requirements, slow and predictable, and you can work around it. And then the other side of it is his lore is 1. It's not even like he's 4 lore, so it's like, oh, you're threatening me, I'm scared, I don't want to play my big character. And then because of that, you're able to quest for 4 every turn. It's like you're questing for 1, which is...
Yeah, it's just way too many negatives. Nothing stands out, nothing is good.
Yeah.
If you had more lore, do it for free, inkable, and 1 less ink to even bring this guy out, or better stats or something. It's just all negatives.
Yeah, even if it's play it the turn you pay the turn you play, right? So it's just a one-time effect, and you in essence need at least 8 ink, but you play it, you pay 3 ink, and you can get rid of one of yours and one of theirs. There's an immediacy to it that your opponent doesn't expect, but here you're revealing your hand.
Yeah, even if this is when you play it, you do it for free, it would still be bad.
Yeah. Earlier, what was the legendary? Oh, the purple legendary that I said if somebody buys this off of you for $30, sell it. You pull it and someone's like, hey, I need that card, here's $30. I'd sell it or trade it. Mm-hmm. For this one, I would say if you pull this card and someone is charging you $5 to take it from you, I would say give it to them and the $5, because this card, this is the worst legendary.
This is horrible, yeah.
What was the one that I said was the worst legendary?
The other one.
Well, this is worse than that.
I forgot, it was bad, but this is horrible. Yeah, this is the worst.
Yeah.
No, we're not done yet.
1 star for sure.
Yeah, 1 star. If I could, I'd do 0 stars. There's no excuse to run this. Not even fun or nothing.
Yeah, as of now, no reason.
Mickey Mouse. It's a 5-drop inkable 4/4 as a shift 3, quest for 2, and has the effect When this character quests, chosen pirate character gets +2 attack and gains. This character takes no damage from challenges this turn. Initial thoughts?
Interesting for sure. I don't know all the Mickey cards in terms of what this would work well with, but I know there are a lot of different options in terms of color pairing, right, with red. But I do feel like pirate decks will want to include red for sure for that Jolly Roger, right, to move over and gain rush. Shift 3 is really good. The stats are pretty strong at 4/4, and that's a pretty good effect, right? They get extra 2 attack and they just take no damage. So you're more likely, especially if you play it on turn 3 or even up to turn 5, even later on, but you're more likely to be able to trade into something and have your character survive. So it feels like a free +1 almost. The 2 lore is good. This is an interesting card. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think for sure in pirate decks we'll see a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think this card's pretty good. It's up there almost with that Daisy from earlier. The stat line is good, the quest amount is good, and the shift, the Floodborne ability is really good. 3 mana for 4/4 is really good, and then the effect is actually good too. It's basically can be a +1. You just pump up one of your pirates and take out one of the guys for free, most likely. So I think it's gonna see play, especially in pirate deck or exclusively in a pirate deck. It's not gonna see play in not one, but stats are good. I like it.
What do you rate?
I give it a solid 3 in a pirate deck, and this type of card is only gonna get better as we get more pirate support.
Yeah, I think in a pirate deck I probably give this a 4, and I think it's even better than the Daisy because it's not dependent upon a location or anything else. Just as is, you play him, and if you have another pirate out, he survives. Or they'll likely survive and get the bonus attack. So I think that this is a 4 in a pirate deck. Overall, I think outside of a pirate deck, probably a one, right? But in the context of pirate, I think it's a 4.
Yeah, solid card.
Sweet. Next up in red, we've got Minnie Mouse. So let's pull this up. This is a 3 cost. She's not inkable. 3/2 stats. So her effect, once during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may return a location card from your discard to your hand. Quest for 1.
It's pretty good. I think so. Just getting a location is really good value. And she's a pirate, so she just fits into that deck. Initial thoughts is I think she's, pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I think there are a new kind of mechanic or system introduced this set is an additional effect when you ink, right? And this is an interesting one. I think, again, I keep harping on the Jolly Roger, but it's just 1 cost, and it's so good, right? So if you played her at 4 ink, that had been removed by being attacked or discarded, however it is, right? But it's in your discard pile. Play her, you get that, you play the additional ink, and then you can move her over. So she immediately can challenge at 3/2. If you have other pirates, they gain the rush as well. I just think it's really good. It's obviously you need a location in your discard, so it won't always be great. But if you've got it, I think it's solid.
Yeah, I think she fits in just right with those pirate decks. And like you were saying, if you have the Jolly Roger early on and they, waste resources or challenging it, you just get it right back. So it has that synergy, and then you can just move on with the further synergy on that. And the stat line is good. Quest 1 is okay. She's uninkable, which is acceptable for this kind of card.
Yeah, especially at low cost, right? You won't be hanging on to her for too long.
Yeah, so what do you rate her?
I would say this is within a pirate deck, probably a 3. I think it's good enough, especially if you have enough locations. If it's only the 4 Jolly Roger, it might not be as useful, and you may not run it at 4, in which case it might be a 2 cost or a 2-star, but I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking a high 2. It's not as good as like the Mickey or the Daisy. But she's solid in that type of deck, and that's what you're going for. And of course, by herself, she's not good at all. But no, she's okay.
Yeah.
But in the pirate deck, she's pretty good. She's solid.
For sure. And even beyond the Jolly Roger, if you get any other location, it's just free ink, right? But you can play or ink it if you don't want to play it, which is so long as it's sinkable. So it's interesting. Next, this is the 3rd, so last super rare for red. We've got Scar. He's a 5 cost uninkable. 4-2, this is actually the card that's going to be the promo card for the set championship this set.
Nice.
But for that one, it's inkable, so they made a mistake and they printed it as inkable. People were like, oh, this is pay to win at its finest, right? Like if you have that version, you can ink. But he's not inkable. 5 cost, stats are 4-2. He quests for 3, and his effect is Teeth and Ambitions. So when you play this character, deal 2 damage to chosen character of yours to deal 2 damage to another chosen character. What are your thoughts?
Initial thoughts is he's pretty good. He has decent stats, or okay stats for 5 ink. He quests for a lot.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot. 3 is really good. And then his effect is good too, because half the time you're casting Teeth and Ambitions just by itself. So if you can get it on top of a card, you can save that one card. And then next turn you can quest for 3 or whatever. So I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think the Teeth and Ambitions card as a standalone has fallen out of the meta a bit, I think, for things like Brawl and whatnot. But I think when it's built into a card, it's pretty solid. And I think synergies that existed with Teeth and Ambition will exist here. So it's things like, what's the legendary you said? Or super rare maybe? Hydra?
Hydra?
Yeah. So that one, the damage it takes, it mirrors it, right? And it's got good stats, so you can deal 2 damage to it to deal 2 damage to something else. The other one is it Prince Eric?
Oh, Prince
Eric, yeah. So he's 2/4 cost. Whenever he's banished, you can banish a chosen character. So if they were pretty wide, you can deal 2 damage to him, quest with him first, and deal 2 damage to him, and then you can kind of benefit twice, right? He'll banish one character, and then you can deal 2 damage to a different character. So there are some synergies, again, that existed with Teeth and Ambitions, only now that it's paired with a body.
Yeah.
High attack, low health, 3 lore is pretty high, so it'll be a priority for removal. That's an interesting card.
Yeah, I think just like the 2-in-1 package is the best part about this. And then on top of that, you can quest for 3. So you do your like free spell or free action, and then you can quest for 3 or just attack and trade off to something. So I think just having it in all-in-one package makes it better than just Teeth and Ambition by itself.
What do you rate it?
I rate it a 3. I don't think it's anything crazy or game-changing. It's just a good solid card.
Yeah, same, a 3, because you do need to have someone else, right? If you play it just on himself, he'll end up taking himself out. But the enchanted promo that's inkable, I'll rate that one a 4.
That one's a 6. Misprints are going to be worth a lot.
Cool.
Comment down below if we're wrong or if we're right.
Yeah.
For how wrong we are or how right we are.
Awesome. Thanks,
All
folks.
right. Take care.
Bye.